Hello and back to another fan show. I'm J Booksmart. And today we are starting a novels versus video, our first ever television one. Super duper exciting. I don't know how we're going to do the TV angle of this. Probably not the way I'm going to do it for the rest of them, so just ignore it this time around and we'll get more in depth into it in the next one. This is also the first part of a series for this novel versus, which is really fun and exciting. And so we're watching the entire Summer I Turned Pretty series while also reading by Them. And we just finished the Summer I Turned Pretty. Now before we jump into this, I actually have context for the Summer I Turned Pretty. I'd also like to mention, oh my god, super important, super key. But of course, once again, we're only covering the first season and the first book. But I also have the entire series overview of the entire thing. I do have a feeling that will probably go up before the actual, before these all go up, in case you want more thoughts in depth. So the Summer I Turned Pretty follows Belly as she goes off to a house in a place I can't even really know. It's called Summers or something or those lines. And between June and August, and she goes and there's a beach house, and that's just how it is. And in this summer in particular, when she turns 16, she believes she is beautiful, and she will go and she is hoping to catch the eyes of one Conrad, which is her childhood friend that she lives with during these summers. And he has a brother named Jeremiah, she has a brother named Stephen, they have a mother named Laurel, or she has a mother named Laurel, they have a mother named Savannah, and it's about their summers and stuff. Other supporting characters are Taylor and Cam, and those are all really the basic plots and stuff that you need. We already jumped into spoilers territory for the book. Well, I'm gonna have to talk a little bit of spoilers because when I edit this, or when I come back to this to get my thoughts and opinions back on it, when we talk about comparisons, it'll be easier. Some big things that I remember, because I did watch a TV show first. I watched the first season first, and I read the books because I just wanted to read them, and I fell in love with it. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't gonna make these if I didn't like the first one, and I fucking adored it. So yeah, we're gonna rank them. I watched the first season. I watched it a bit ago, though. I'm gonna have to be honest with you. When season 3 was first coming out, that was a hot minute ago, and I've only seen maybe half of the first episode of the second season, so I'm not even really sure. And the big things that I do know that we're gonna be talking about quite a bit is the fact there is no debutante ball. She does end up Conrad at the end, but it's a bit different. That one makes it seem more like a dream sequence, and I don't think this is a dream sequence. This feels really standalone-y. Whereas, I don't think the TV show also, it does end in a way where you could be satisfied. I also think there's a bit more of a competition in the TV show between Jeremiah, Conrad, and Belly, and who she's going to end up with, whereas this is Jeremiah kind of comes out of left field, in my opinion. Cameron is also here, and also Taylor's only used in flashbacks, and I don't remember that being the case in the TV show. But yeah, those are my thoughts very quickly on the first season, or the first book, 4.25 or 4.5, like I said. I'm gonna go watch the first season, and then I'll come back in, and we can talk about the entire first season. Obviously, I won't get the play-by-plays, but we'll see how it goes for the second season, because the first one's a rewatch, so I don't feel like I'm gonna do as in-depth of an analysis. But the second season, we might come in here and talk a little bit more deeply. I don't know though. TV show reviews are new. I want to come in here and do a short review of the TV show for season 1 for the Summer I Turned Pretty. I'll put the poster up for it. And then also we'll do a little bit of a comparison between the book and the TV show as well. I'm gonna be so for real with you. I finished the first season like a week ago, probably at this point, and I read the book 2 weeks ago. I'm not at the top of my game. I just had to continue to push this off. I had other things, other priorities or whatever that came before me filming this. I'm gonna do the best I can. Season 1, I really, really loved. I don't think I would have even loved the book as much if I hadn't fell in love with Lola Tongue the first time playing Belly, but I think there is such a nuance to her performance, and she makes a lot of things that annoy me with Belly much more adjustable. I would also have to say that the TV show makes a bigger point of putting a competition between the brothers. I think it's pretty well early on that you realize that Belly had gone through some type of transformation like they talk about. However, I don't know how obvious it is. It's obvious to her, but it's not obvious to us as a viewer. With the immersion with Jeremiah and Conrad, you do realize from a very early standpoint that Conrad has always had feelings from Belly based on his experiences, and then Jeremiah is relatively freshly new to this experience of wanting Belly. Her and Jeremiah have a lot more intimate reactions, whereas her and Conrad's has a lot more subtler moments that I feel like hit harder. So I'm still very much in Team Conrad. She does end up with Conrad in the end. From what I remember from the first episode of season 2, it's a daydream. I don't know if that's gonna be the same case as book 2 or not. As I've decided, I'm gonna read both books next, and then we'll watch both TV shows and I'll just do them individually. Overall, I'm giving the season a 4 out of 5. I really liked it. I had a great time. Maybe a 4.5 out of 5. I really liked it. I like I said, I had a really, really good time. They did a lot of different things. I particularly did not like Taylor here. I don't like Taylor in the book either. Let me see. Let me just put both of them on the screen so you know we're talking about both of them. There is full spoilers. I don't like Taylor here, but they do put Taylor's storyline as an A storyline instead of as a C storyline, which is interesting. She has two episodes, maybe 3 episodes that are dedicated to her and Belly's relationship, and all of them I did not like. One of them is a storyline that they brought to the forefront that was done in the past, as she never does visit the summer house in the timeline that we're talking about, the present day timeline. However, she does visit here. Her and Steven do have a little bit of interaction, but Shayla, who I am starting to understand, I think, a little bit why she's not present throughout the rest of the show, is what is supposed to believe is Steven's endgame. I don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure Taylor is his endgame, and so I don't think they invited Shayla back. Other things, huge things. One of the biggest things out of the entire thing is the debutantes. I'm so sorry if you can hear the fucking annoying dogs in the background or my cat scratching. I can't do anything about these, and I don't have the time to not film this later. I have to start the next book today. It needs to be started, so we're moving on. So like they have the debutantes, that's not even a part of the book. There's nothing to do with any of that. I kept waiting for it to happen and it never did happen. A lot of the novel actually takes place, I would say, within the first like 3 or 4 episodes, and then everything else past that point is different. Belly doesn't get drunk in the book. She gets pretty drunk. Obviously Steven doesn't have any other kisses. Conrad does have an extra, like, you know, has somebody else that he does like and that he does have infatuation for, and so there's a lot of conversations that end up happening, a lot of situations that they put themselves in, a skinny dipping situation. All those, they don't matter, and so the Jeremiah stuff doesn't equal out exactly how Jeremiah stuff happens in the book. So there's a lot of moments where it doesn't match. Makes sense. The story ends at the ball, you know, with Savannah, everybody learning about Savannah. And I also feel like they handle Belly better in the show than they did in the book. Belly comes off as very, I'm trying to think of the right word, conceited, very, like, it's about her. She wants to be about her and not about what Jeremiah and or Conrad are feeling. And in the TV show, they made it very equal, and she felt very compassionate, and I really like that, and I applaud Lola and I applaud her mom for being a part of that. Also, Steven is throughout the entire show. He has a job. There's a lot of other little things going on there as well, talking about money and wealth. That's not mentioned whatsoever. Her mom has a relationship with another author. That's not talked about whatsoever. It's briefly mentioned why there could have been breaking, why they could have broke up, but it's not really talked about. Her parents, Belly's parents. And it's also briefly talked about why Savannah and her husband are not getting along, but it's not really talked about, like, not to a full extent. And so all these things do play overall factors why I think the TV show is a bit stronger than the novel, because it's a bit more dense and there's a bit more things. They covered everything they could cover from the source material, but they added so much more. To the point where I think maybe it would have worked better as a, like, adaptation than, like, a movie instead of a TV show, but they chose TV shows. So let's see what they do to book 2. We're already ending off on the same notes, however it's different, and so I have a feeling we're going to start on different notes. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.